Well, President Trump tweeted another defense of his actions at his North Carolina rally this week. Saturday morning, he posted a video of the Send Her Back chant directed at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. He says the video shows that he did nothing to lead people on. The president tried to distance himself from the comments earlier this week, saying he disagreed with them. But now he's defending the crowd's actions. Ben Tracy has the story.
As you know, those are incredible people. Those are incredible patriots.
In the Oval Office Friday, President Trump took the side of those who chanted "Send her back" at a rally in North Carolina Wednesday. This was widely seen as a racist attack on Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, originally from Somalia, but now an American citizen. After the First Lady, the president's daughter Ivanka, and several Republican lawmakers expressed their concerns about the ugly scene, the president offered a tepid rebuke.
I disagree with it, by the way, but it was quite a chant, and I felt a little bit badly about it.
But less than 24 hours later, Mr. Trump was back to blaming Omar.
You know what I'm unhappy with? I'm unhappy with the fact that a congresswoman can hate our country. I'm unhappy with the fact that a congresswoman can say anti-Semitic things.
The president seems to see political advantage in his feud with the 4 Democratic congresswomen known as the Squad, especially Omar, who has been particularly outspoken. When she returned to Minnesota Thursday, Omar was defiant, saying as an immigrant in Congress, she is the president's nightmare.
We are going to continue to be a nightmare to this president because his policies are a nightmare to us. That's right. And we are not deterred. We are not frightened. We are ready.
That got under the president's skin.
I'm unhappy when a congresswoman goes and said, I'm going to be the president's nightmare. She's going to be the president's nightmare. She's lucky to be where she is, let me tell you.
And CBS News contributing meteorologist Jeff Baradelli joins me now. So, Jeff, how hot is it going to get? What are you watching for?
So what I'm watching for is not only the heat, but also the humidity. High temperatures are somewhat, I'd almost say, bearable in some areas. I mean, there were places yesterday that got to 90 to 95 in the upper Midwest, but their heat indices were so high because there was so much Gulf moisture in the upper Midwest. So spiking those temperatures, making them feel closer to 115, 120. This is what we're expecting today. Hartford, the reason why I have a star at Hartford is because if it gets to 103, that would be an all-time record high. It'll probably fall just short. When you factor in the humidity, this is what it feels like. So 110 Tulsa, 111 in Richmond tomorrow. Not much difference. 106 Boston, 108 New York, maybe even higher. Some of our computer models around the New York area are predicting even higher feels like temperatures. Richmond, Virginia, 111. But notice it does cool down in Minneapolis later tomorrow. We'll tell you more about the cool down in a second or two. But those are the actual temperatures, Rena. 100 in New York today, 113 the feels like temperature, 99 in Boston feels like 106. And during the day tomorrow, take a look at this. We max out around 98 in the city, but
wow.
We add another 17 degrees for the feels like temperature. It feels like 115 there, 113 in Philadelphia. DC's no picnic. Feels like 108 there, 105 as it feels like temperature in Boston. So some real heat heading our way over the next couple of days. Not going to last forever, though. That's the good news.
That is the good news. When do you think we'll see a cool down?
So we have this front in the upper Midwest right now. It's going to gradually make its way to the south. It'll produce some showers, some thunderstorms. And it will be a heat-busting cold front. So you can see those showers and storms later today, Green Bay, Saginaw, Michigan, making its way south through the Ohio Valley tomorrow, Indianapolis. You'll get in on some of that rain-cooled air. Still plenty of heat up and down the eastern seaboard, though, up and down the I-95 corridor. But by Monday, the storms move our way, so the clouds move in, temperatures begin to cool down, and behind the front, much cooler air is going to be moving in. In fact, the jet stream is going to do a complete flip-flop across the country. So big dome, big mountain dome, they call it, heat dome across the east. But watch what happens as these two kind of areas, the trough and the ridge, kind of switch places. So the heat will be across the west coast as we head towards the middle of the week. Much cooler air moves into the northeast. Are you ready for 50s and 60s? Because by Wednesday morning, a lot of folks in the Northeast and Great Lakes will be in the 50s and 60s. New York City will be in the 60s, but outside of the city, 50s.
I mean, just the concept of it being 60 here when it feels like 110 is just pretty remarkable to hear. But, you know, you talk about these swings that we've seen over the past year. You cover climate change extensively. What are people saying when it comes to climate change and these extreme weather climates temperatures that we've seen?
So we know for sure that heat waves are getting worse because of climate change. Maybe not necessarily this one. I mean, every heat wave is worse because of climate change because we've added 2 degrees to the average temperature that we used to have in the late 1800s. So it does spike every heat wave, but certain heat waves are affected more. These are the results of 2 recent studies. And by 2050, Minneapolis, their average warmest month goes from 80 degrees to 90 plus by 2050. Heat index days above 105, they will triple.
My gosh.
And in New York City, right now we average about 2 days where our heat index is above 100. By 2050, it's 20 days of summer. By 2085, it's 42 days of summer.
That's significant.
Yeah, that's very significant. And also, we want to show you a graphic here. It's going to animate it. It basically goes from now through 2050 and 2100. It shows how those 100-degree days creep their way up the United States and bring sweltering heat to the whole country. So take a look at that. By 2100, there we are now. There we are 2050, there we are 2100. You can kind of see that heat creeping up north. Places like Dallas, right now they have about 5 days that are above 105 for an actual temperature. By 2050, it's 30 days. By 2060, it's 60 plus days.
Remarkable.
Yeah, maybe not 2060, 2100, but it's a lot.
That map says so much.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us, Jeff Baradelli. We
welcome.
appreciate it.